Today is the day that you as a real estate agent start posting on YouTube, because I'm going to share with you the exact process that our real estate agents use to create videos that actually generate leads, which has allowed our real estate agents to close real estate transactions from YouTube every single month. So let's dig in, because today we're going to go into the prep work, the scripting, recording, editing, and uploading on YouTube. Now, for our purposes today, I'm going to assume that you're going to be responsible for everything. I'm assuming that you don't have an editor, and I'm also assuming that you don't have a content writer or a designer, which as we continue down this process, I'm going to share with you some cost-effective ways to outsource those specific tasks. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is our dedicated workflow. This is the workflow that all of our real estate agents use. This is how they communicate with our editors, our content writers, our designers, and everybody. But again, here we're assuming that you are doing everything yourself at the moment. So the first thing that we're going to do is start at brainstorming. So here we're going to say first video, just to have a name for the actual page here. I'm going to move it here to the center so we have it all in one place. All right, so this is what's called Notion. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the workflow that we use. This is our project management tool, very similar to Trello, very similar to Monday.com, very similar to those types of platforms. We use Notion. All of our agents use Notion. This is where we kind of live. So we have scripts loaded up, so we're not going to use any of the scripts for now. This is the people that are on our Done For You YouTube program. So we have a lot of real estate agents that allow us to create and launch their YouTube channel, and they start using our scripts, start creating videos, and go on to see success. But we're not going to use any of that. Again, I'm assuming that you haven't hired us. I'm assuming that you don't have a designer, content writer, or anybody else. I'm going to show you where to source some individuals to help you as we get going. So the first stop is our brainstorming stage. This is the first stop that we have. So here we're just thinking up ideas. So here, let's just say I want to get some real estate leads, of course. So if we're trying to generate real estate leads, we need to understand the viewer. What type of content do they need to see in order for them to reach out to us as quickly as possible? So as an example, you're not going to make a video that talks about how to clean out your gutters on your YouTube channel, because at that point, you're not a real estate focused channel, you're more of a maintenance channel. So as we start brainstorming in this particular phase, we need to understand what type of content makes sense for us to record on. So let's just brainstorm real quick. We're going to start thinking about, let's start talking about real estate rates. And there's nothing wrong or right about our brainstorming session. We're just going to brainstorm. Let's mortgage rates. Since I kind of went down the finance part, let's start talking about mortgage payments, like that. Let's start talking about the real estate market. Okay, so right now, again, there's no right or wrong answers. We're just brainstorming. And at the end of the day, just so you kind of see what's going on, at the end of the day, what's going to be easiest for you is to answer any questions you frequently get. Don't get bogged down here. So the reason that I encourage all of the real estate agents that are starting to get on YouTube to answer questions that they get very frequently is so they can use this video as a way to answer those questions. That way you're not bogged down every single time answering the same question. So if you're being asked, hey, what's the option period? Well, at that point, you don't have to continue answering that question verbatim. Here you have a video to support that. But anyway, just think through any questions that you have received in the past, so then you can take care of them at that point. But for our purposes today, we are brainstorming. So as you can see here, everything here is laid out. Our workflow is laid out in what I call boss red: brainstorm, optimize, script, record, edit, and distribute. So if you're doing this yourself, which again, that's the assumption that I'm making here, is you're gonna brainstorm. So brainstorm in batches. So block off 5 minutes to brainstorm some video ideas. Then we're gonna move all of them over here to the optimize stage. So brainstorm, optimize, script, record, edit, and then you see over here, distribute. These are because we have editors, because we have designers, we have some reviewing and revision requests. We needed to add those, but again, we are assuming that you're doing everything yourself. So here I have I'm going to delete this so we don't get confused. Let's just say we had 3 video ideas that we wanted to make. Notice that they're not really refined. We just have some topics, some general topics that we can discuss. So here, let's say, okay, we're going to go over here to optimize. At the optimize stage, we're bringing everything over. At the optimize stage, we're answering for 3 things. Here at the optimize stage, we're answering for the traffic, the thumbnail, and the title. So the traffic means the demand. Are people actually searching for this information? We're answering for the thumbnail. What does the thumbnail need to look like? And this is where we start talking about different options for your thumbnail. And what does the title need to be? How can we clearly convey what the video is about, or how can we create curiosity on the title? Those are the only 2 options here when we're talking about the title that we're gonna put on this particular video. All right, so at this point, we're gonna optimize for those 3 things: the traffic, the thumbnail, the title. So let's just, we're not gonna do all 3, but I just wanna show you with at least one example. Let's go with mortgage payments. Let's say we wanted to talk about mortgage payments because people that are actually looking at the numbers are gonna be a little bit closer to the well. They're gonna be a little bit closer to actually closing a transaction. So mortgage payments, we're gonna start off pretty open, and we're gonna go over here to Google, and we're gonna see something pretty cool. These numbers right here, you don't see these numbers on your screen because unless you, well, let me rephrase that, unless you have Keywords Everywhere. So Keywords Everywhere is a Chrome plugin. So Keywords Everywhere is a plugin that you can install. It's super cheap, super inexpensive. I run out of credits all of the time. In fact, prior to recording this video, I had to purchase a few more because I just ran out. So here you see all the credits. So anytime you run a search, by the way, it actually takes some credits from you. So this is, again, I think it's like 15 bucks for 100,000 credits. Depending on how often you use it, it's gonna get billed, but you can always turn it off. So here, let's see if it shows. I can turn that off. As you can see here, it's already used a few of my credits because it gave me those results, but I find a lot of value in doing that. Now, if you don't want to go through with this Keywords Everywhere tool, that's completely okay. That's completely okay, and that's something that you can absolutely do. Let me refresh this real quick because I want to see the actual results. Where'd he go? Oh, did I turn it off? Oh, I turned it off. That's why. Here we go. So where I was going with this was, if you don't want to pay for Keywords Everywhere, that's completely okay. All you have to do is go to Google Keyword Planner. So if you have an AdWords account or an ads account with Google, you're going to be good to go. So here, let's see here, mortgage payments. So there's 22,000 searches per month. Okay. And then this is the ad spend. So the bidding amount that you can expect to pay per impression or per click. I forget exactly what that is. But anyway, this is how much the keyword, what you can expect to pay if you were advertising, which is not what we're doing here, but that's a little bit too much information. So let's stay on topic. So here we see mortgage payments on 300,000. You see that there's 1,900 views on that, or searches per month, sorry. Mortgage payments on 200,000, very similar. On 500,000, there's less. Mortgage payments tag deductible, right? So here, what you're answering, what we're looking for is the traffic. So as you can see, mortgage payments as a whole, yeah, there's a lot of searches. Now we're gonna make it a little bit more specific here based off of the content that we're trying to create. And I think I like, let's see, what do I like? I like 300, that's fine. So I know that is going to produce some results. I know, well, in terms of, there's some search traffic here, mortgage payments on 300,000. So if I wanted to make this video, I could very easily do that. I know that there's going to be some general interest on this particular topic because I know that people are Googling this information. And as we know, Google owns YouTube. So a lot of the same searches that you see over on Google really come over here to YouTube as well. So another way of saying this type of information, or another way to say mortgage payment, is how do you calculate a mortgage payment, right? What's in a mortgage payment, right? So if we were to go over here and go back, I know we're getting into the nitty gritty here, but hopefully you can appreciate how the sausage is made. That way you can replicate this on your channel, right? What is the mortgage payment made of? All right. So something like that. So you see loan and principal, loan interest, taxes, and insurance. So we of course already knew that. But what's interesting for us is here. Oh, here we go. We have a lot of plugins coming in. So what is included in a mortgage payment? So that's a better way of saying what I just tried to say. So this is what's valuable here. Had I gone and used my broken English or my inability to speak English, apparently, what is the mortgage payment made of? Here, you can see if I rephrase it, I'm still saying the same thing, but in a more SEO friendly manner. So hopefully you caught that, right? So what is included in a mortgage payment? Had I gone and said this, chances are I'm not getting as much juice as if I was making this particular type of video. Oh, let me rephrase that. If I had titled it something a little bit different, right? So I know that this particular title, this has traffic as well. So what is included in a mortgage payment? I feel like we're gonna make that one, actually. I would much rather make that one for the sake of, for the sake of this video here. All right. What is included in a mortgage payment, right? So for me, we started with what? Mortgage payment. So here it's a different type of video. So here we're wordsmithing, we're understanding what's the traffic out there, understanding what we're looking to do. So this one doesn't, I understand that it doesn't have as much traffic when we look at the volume search per month. I understand that it doesn't have as much traffic here, but that way, with this particular video, one, I think it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to make this video in real time so you can kind of see it. But two, you get to see different versions of how you're working through this, how you're optimizing. Remember, we're doing this at the optimized stage here, right? So we started with mortgage payment. We could take any angle that we wanted. We could have calculated a $300,000 mortgage, a $200,000 mortgage, and that would have been fine. So in fact, I would encourage y'all to make that video specific to your city. So had we made a, what's the mortgage payment on $300,000 property, I would have added in Dallas as an example. That way you make it more local to you and you start generating more leads that way. But for our purposes today, we are going to use this. So we know we know that there's traffic here. There may not be as much traffic as the others that we were talking about, but that's completely okay. Again, I wanted to show you the ins and outs there. All right, what does my thumbnail need to look like? So with thumbnails, that is something that you get to decide. Do you want to make the thumbnail yourself? In that case, you might have Photoshop. If you are very good with Photoshop, cool, awesome, you're good to go. You can design there. Or if you're not, like me, you can go to Canva. So Canva has a lot of ready-made templates that you can leverage and use, and you can start making the thumbnail there. So again, Canva is free, so it's something that you might really find a lot of value in without necessarily having to break the bank for a thumbnail. Now that is that is something that you do yourself, right? But if you're gonna go and really take YouTube seriously, I encourage you to hire a professional. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use us, although we have designers that will do the designs for you. What I'm suggesting is that you find a professional somewhere. So you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork.com, or if you wanna use the one, the VA service that I use with all of our work, you can just go to JaimeResendiz.com/VA, and you're gonna get who we use, the exact people the exact service that I use to get some support for our Done For You YouTube program. So those are some options. So again, here at this point, I wanna know what the thumbnail needs to look like. So here, let's go back. If I'm gonna create this thumbnail, I need to have an understanding of what it needs to look at this point. So here is where we start. If we're gonna hire it out, we go ahead and make the order right here. Right, so if I was going to hire it out, I would go ahead and make the thumbnail request at this point in time. If I was going to make the thumbnail myself, I would at least bare minimum have an understanding of what it needs to look like. Because when I'm recording the video, I need to be able to call back the thumbnail if I so choose. But I encourage you to go ahead at this point at the optimize stage. You need to at least have clarity on what it needs to look like and either submit the order to Fiverr, or submit the order to whomever designer you're using, or make it yourself. So at this point, I would start thinking through what's included in a mortgage payment. If I wanted some ideas, I would just go over to YouTube and I would copy this straight into YouTube and get some ideas of what it needs to look like. So let's do that right now to give us inspiration. If we're falling flat and are not sure what it can look like, we're gonna see what's going on in the space right now. So here we look at, oh, that's an ad right there. What's included in a mortgage payment? You could tell that was done herself, that's okay. You can tell that this was done herself, that's okay. So you can't even read that. So there's really nothing here that I want to model. So we are in a good spot. So in this case, I would just come up with my own thumbnail design. So when it comes to the thumbnail, I would probably do something like, I would put a house, so image of house. And then I'm just verbalizing what I would ask one of our designers to go ahead and take care of. So I would need an image of a house, and then me pointing. So I already have a bank of images of me doing all types of motions, me pointing to the house. And then I would also I would put add text mortgage payment with a question mark with not a question mark. And then I would just put the number's not going to make sense as a hazy. I'm sorry, the number doesn't really matter for the look that I'm looking for. As a blurry, as a blur. So essentially the look that I'm going after is, I want to have a house there. I want me pointing to the house. And then I also want mortgage payment. So this would be in bold. And then this would be also there, but the numbers, they would be a blur. I know this is pretty shorthand, but our designers kind of already know what my shorthand. So here you get the beneficiary of trying to decipher what I'm trying to talk about. So here, again, this would be my thumbnail instruction. So for us, all I do is take that and then put it into the comment section so that my team takes over. But again, I'm assuming that you're making this yourself. So either you order this off of a freelancer website, or either you design it yourself at this point in time in the optimized phase, right? So what is included in a mortgage payment? Let's back up. So we already know what traffic, we already know that there's traffic, aka demand. We already know what the thumbnail is going to look like. And at this point, we are already created or ordered it. Now we need to understand the title. So what do we think about the title? What is included in a mortgage payment? It's actually not a terrible title, especially since this is telling me exactly that this is a title. Let's see, what is a mortgage payment? You know what, that's actually not terrible either, right? So the down payment and property tax, how to pay. What is the mortgage payment? What is a mortgage payment? I would have liked a little bit more. See, what is a mortgage payment? So see the difference right there? So that would have been 0. Breakdown, what is the mortgage payment? So I'm gonna keep it because here you could make the argument that what is the mortgage payment? That is, it says long tail keywords, but that's kind of on its way to filling out some other words. So what is the mortgage, this like a partial sentence, essentially, what is the mortgage payment of a $300,000 property? I feel like that's what that is. So here, we're gonna stick with it. What is included in a mortgage payment? We're gonna leave it. We can overdo it sometimes, but In this case, I think we are good to go, right? And that's what we're doing at this point. So remember, we're answering for 3 things. Let me just put it on the screen so you have a visual on this. We're answering for the traffic, which is going to be the demand, which is what you saw there with keywords everywhere. We're answering for the thumbnail. At this point, you go ahead and order it if you have a freelancer that's going to help you, or if you have somebody in staff that's going to help you, or you make it yourself. And then we also come up with the title. What does it need to be titled, right? So those are the 3 things that we're answering for. If at any point we cannot answer for those 3 things, the traffic, the thumbnail, and the title, if we can't really articulate the title, if we don't know what the thumbnail is going to look like, and if we can't really see that there's somebody searching for this information, aka there's demand, traffic, then we're not making that video. Because at this point, it's much easier to call it quits at this point in time and just hit delete. So let's just say, let's delete this real quick. Just pretend that we couldn't answer that one. I'd much rather do it here than going over and scripting, then going over and recording, then going over and editing, and then going and distributing. So remember, these 2 are because of the workflow that we have internally that we speak to our designers, our editors, and everything. But anyway, hopefully this is making sense. And just so you kind of know, the rest of this is an internal hub that all of our agents that are on our Done For You program, they get access, so they have clarity on what their channel needs to be comprised of. They have a lot of cool goodies here. If you're interested in any of the programs, especially the Done For You YouTube program, check the link down below. But we're gonna assume here that we have done the same thing for the real estate rates. We're gonna assume that that's the case. So now we're gonna bring this over, but in reality, we're just gonna do the same thing here. We would just go to the real estate rates and then answer for the same 3 things that we were talking about. We were talking about the traffic, so that's where I went to keywords everywhere. And again, keep in mind, you don't have to purchase keywords everywhere. You can do this by searching on Google. You can do this by searching on YouTube itself and using the autocorrect to see if there's demand. You can do this by going to your keyword planner if you have a Google Ads account. There's other places to get traffic. So don't feel that you have to spend some money, even though it's 15 bucks. I recognize that everybody's budget is different. And we're answering for the thumbnail. And we're answering for the, oops, we already did that. And the title, right? So we would do the same thing. So here, in this case, we're gonna pretend that we've already done that as well. So now we're on to scripting. Now, when it comes to scripting, you basically have 3 options. Number 1, you could write everything out as a script would. So you're writing everything out line by line, crossing every T, dotting every I. Now that's one version. Now, the second way to script is by doing bullet points. You can list out a few things that you want to say. Maybe they don't necessarily make too much sense, just as long as you're able to understand what you're trying to convey. So you can quickly look into your specific script, get the bullet points, get the highlights, and then communicate it on the camera. And the third way to script is not script at all. So I don't recommend that third option, of course, because at the end of the day, whether you do a full script or do some bullet points, it at least gives you some structure. It at least gets you to start thinking about the topic, so you make sure that you cover everything that you want to say in that video. Because if you're anything like me, you're going to forget some things. You're going to come back to that video as you're editing and say, man, I wish I would have covered this point, or hey, I forgot to say X. And that's super important. That ties everything in together. Now, again, it can happen to everybody. Take one of our agents who just now, as of the day of this recording, had to redo an entire video because they made such a critical error in their video that there's no way of saving it. So a little bit of scripting would have gone a long way and would have saved them from having to redo everything. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go back to scripting, and regardless of the route that you go with, either you do a full script or a bullet point version of your script, that's going to be fine. So here, let me just, I won't delete it. Let's continue building here. All right, so what is the title? What is included in a mortgage payment? That's the title. So here, now I'm just doing this because I scroll down, so I want to be able to remember what that title is. All right, so here we're gonna need catchy intro. So the catchy intro should not take longer than a couple of seconds. Then we're gonna get into importance. I should probably separate this. Hook. importance of video. So you're reiterating, you're restating what the importance of the video is. Brief intro, optional. Channel intro, this is optional. You don't have to do it. In fact, you're going to notice that in this particular video, I didn't do a channel intro. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Stay tuned. This is going to be a subset of the important. And I'll explain it here in a little bit. I'm just doing this in real time. The payoff. Watch vids. All right, so here's what's happening. I can delete that. All right, so catchy hook. So here we're just gonna do a very catchy hook about this particular video. So what is included in a mortgage payment? Before we actually go to do this manually, of course, I wanna address the elephant in the room. You could easily take this and go over to ChatGPT and ask it to create a YouTube script for I have a lot of other videos on ChatGPT, so you can absolutely do this yourself. I'm sorry, you can go to those videos and see how to really work ChatGPT. I'm just giving you the basics. I don't want to, this is not necessarily an AI video. I'm showing you how to leverage AI as well, but this way you at least have the quick and dirty. So it gives you an intro, gives you the actual answers to the test, right? So it gives you principal plus interest, the taxes, home insurance, and PMI if you don't pay enough, as you know, and then boom, 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 right? So this is a version, right? So there shouldn't be an excuse on, I don't have time, I don't know where to get started, I can't script things. You could easily take this. In fact, I'll do this just for the sake of this example. We're gonna go back to doing this manually, so you see how to do it manually if you're not on the AI train yet, which you should, but just giving you an example. You're gonna take it back here. You're gonna take this and you're gonna wordsmith it. You're gonna redo it. You can, in fact, you can reorganize it, right? So you could put it up there if you want. Again, this is the very, I wouldn't even say this is advanced. This is gonna become a norm. So I just want you to at least know how to leverage the tools that are around you. This is a good starting point. This is gonna get you 70% of the way there. The 30% that happens next, what you're seeing right now, well, that's really where it's gonna actually make the huge difference. But that way, you at least have a starting point, right? So 70% can be done by ChatGPT. The rest, the 30%, it can be done by you and should be done by you, because you're gonna be the one that ties in the loose ends. But anyway, back to the actual structure. So the structure that I'm giving you is have a catchy hook, should not take longer than a line. The importance of the video. So why are you making this video? Giving them a payoff. So expect a payoff. You're not saying this in the video, but expect a payoff. Make sure you stay to the end. So basically stay to the end. Brief channel intro, that's optional. You don't have to do it. Point 1, point 2, point 3, the payoff, and then watch vids. So essentially the call to action. It could be watch vids, download ABC, whatever payoff you want. I'm sorry, whatever call to action you have. Actually, no, I'm sorry. So with this particular video, our call to action, we're gonna keep it. How do we want to do this? What is included in a mortgage payment? Okay. This will be this is gonna be basically the leads call to action, which you're gonna see is gonna be the mortgage. All right, so I get so used to doing this that whenever I start training on it, I kind of get ahead of myself. So here we go. Catchy hook. So what's included in a mortgage payment? All right, so have you ever wondered why your mortgage payment goes up every year? Could we get better? Probably. Could we? But here we're really establishing a bit of interest here, right? So have you ever wondered why your mortgage payment goes up every single year? Or said a different way, you could say, have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment actually is made of? Have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment is actually made of? All right, so here we're essentially putting our hook on it. We're really trying to get them bought into this video as quickly as possible. So we're kind of even leading the witness here. We can get a little bit more silly, a little bit more salacious here, and get a little bit more hooky, if you will, or more catchy, if you will, but time is of the essence. So we're gonna keep going, right? So then we're gonna get into the importance of the video. All right. So in the importance of the video, you're gonna cover things such as, so let's just say, have you ever wondered, we're gonna use this one. Have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment is actually made of? And then we can kind of even bake this into the importance of the video. Well, if you're anything like me, chances are you thought about it the moment you received a notice from the bank saying your new monthly payment is now 10% more, or something like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna work through the rest of this, and then you're gonna see the final product, because then we can talk through it, but I just want you to see at least the starting point. Now, don't be shocked, don't be surprised if when you come back, it looks a little bit different as I start wordsmithing here. It's normal to take some things out, add some things in, really try to make this a little bit better. So I'm gonna save you the time and I'm gonna go through this solo, so hang in there with me. I'll be right back. All right, so at this point, the script is done. Now that took me about 15 minutes to go through and list out everything that I wanted to record on. So here's essentially what we have. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this one, this intro. That's gonna be the hook. Could it get stronger? Yeah, of course, but I wanna get this out into your hands as quickly as possible, but we're just gonna make do with what we have right now. I didn't like this, so I kind of rewrote it to get more to the point. So we have the catchy hook, the importance of the video, and then the payoff. So hey, stay to the end. So we wanna get them on, keep people on our video as long as possible. We want our average view duration to be extremely high, and this is one of the ways to do that. So not only do we have a punchy intro, so we're getting right into the equation, right into the meat and potatoes of it, without hemming and hawing, trying to say who we are, what the channel's about, everything else in between. So you're gonna notice that we're gonna go catchy hook, importance of video, so why they need to stay, and then also why they need to stay all the way to the end, and then a brief intro. I just made this intro up. I don't really use intros in my videos or channel intros. And then we have the main points. So here, main point is what the mortgage payment is made of. So here's just a brief overview. And then I go into a really good breakdown. I'm kind of surprised myself. I came out pretty good, I think. And then a bit more in depth here, deeper understanding of each part of the mortgage payment. And then point 3 is the additional cost to consider. So I like to be as thorough as possible. So, cause there's gonna be comments saying, hey, what about MIP? What about the PMI? Whatever the case may be. What about homeowners insurance? All that jazz. So I wanna go ahead and cover that on point 3. Now you don't have to do 3 points, but it's just a good rule of 3. And then the payoff. All right, so I promised you a tool that will give you the exact, they'll give you the exact amount. So as you can see, this is obviously more of a points, this is more bullet points. It's not necessarily an entire script. You're gonna see how I record it. And then what I'm gonna use here in the video itself is gonna be a tool that a good friend of the channel, good friend of mine, Kyle Seagraves with Win the House You Love, fantastic YouTube channel. Y'all need to check him out. He's got such cool tools for home buyers and home sellers. So I'm gonna show him some love in the video, pointing people that way. And then the call to action when it comes to watching videos. So of course, we want people to stay in our ecosystem. Let me go ahead and delete this since we didn't use it. We want people to stay in our ecosystem. So what happens now is I'm fairly confident with and very comfortable with this particular video, but this script. What I'm gonna do now is I am going to beef this up a little bit more. How am I gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna introduce some social proof or some B-roll that I wanna include in this particular breakdown. So what I do at this point, just so you see the process as we talk through it, our editing team is phenomenal. They'll go out and get B-roll. They'll add the lower thirds. They're gonna make it look fantastic, very similar to what you're seeing this video right now. In fact, it's gonna be the same team if you decide to work with us and all that stuff. But remember, you're doing this yourself. Again, that's the assumption that I'm making in sharing this video or creating this video. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the following. Let's say here, I would reread the script. So there are 4 critical components. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Principle, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. So I know that my team is going to add some elements here that are gonna be good. But let's just say I wanted to beef it up even more. I wanted to be very specific. So here, let's see, principle. How much did you, so let's just say, I could get a B-roll for that. You want to include B-roll as much as possible, but here I just want to show you how to go out and source certain information. All right, most mortgages are fixed interest rates, especially since the financial crash of so I made a reference to a point in time. So I'm gonna Google financial crash of 2018, the financial crisis. Gonna go here. All right, so I'm just gonna use this as B-roll. So my team is gonna be able to go to that image and then use it as B-roll. And you yourself, you're gonna be able to come back to it later on in the video. When you're editing. So this, again, I'm assuming that you're doing this yourself. So right now you're just pulling in the assets. You can do this, since you're doing this yourself, you can do this after the fact, or you can do it right now. I encourage you to do this right now, because depending on how you record, the way that I'm recording here as an example, I can go speak directly into the camera right now. I can also share the screen. So that's what you're seeing, the ins and outs. All right, so right now what we're doing again is we're just fishing for some B-roll just to beef it up. Interest rates, okay, so I'm gonna look for historical interest rates. Mortgage interest rates. Let's see if Google cooperates with us today. So we're gonna go here. All right, so this is perfect. This is gonna illustrate the point that we wanna convey. So we're gonna copy this link, then we're gonna go back here. So these are good reference points. Again, you're prepping everything ahead of time, right? So when you come and record, you're ready to go. Oops. So for our purposes today, we're gonna leave this good, right? So what we've done at this point is we've already scripted this out, assuming that we already prepped everything that we wanted prepped, we're good to go with that one. Now the next video is up. So here's what's important about the way that we're doing this. We're doing what's called batching. So you see that every single stage, every single phase is broken up into brainstorming, optimizing, scripting, record, editing, and distributing. We already went through the brainstorming, but we did all of that at once. We already did the optimizing, we did all of that at once. So remember, we went through the traffic, the thumbnail, and the title. We identified what those were. Then we went on to scripting, which is what we just got through doing. So we're prepping all of this. Now, brainstorming and optimizing and scripting can all be done in one sitting or in one block. So if you are trying to determine, hey, how does this work? Where am I going to find the time to actually make videos? Give yourself 3 time blocks. Again, assuming that you're doing all of this yourself. The first time block, you're focused on brainstorming, you're optimizing, and you're scripting, which is what we've just done. So in this time block, let's just say you gave yourself an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, you are coming up with ideas, you're optimizing or you're searching for that traffic, thumbnail, and title, and then you are scripting. Because you can be doing that whether you are at the office, whether you're at your home, whether you're at a coffee shop, whether you're mobile, wherever the case may be, you can be doing that. The next stage, so the next time block that you're going to give yourself, that is when you record. So that's the second time block. You can't really record everywhere, right? So that's something that will require some setup, whether you set up all of your equipment in your kitchen or in your office and you share offices, or if you have a shared co-working space, or if you want to do this recording in a certain spot, well, you have to be at that spot that you want to record in order to actually get the video. So that time block, that is constrained. You don't have all the flexibility that you would when you're brainstorming, when you're optimizing, when you're scripting. So again, that's why you're giving yourself 3 time blocks. The first time block, you're brainstorming, you're optimizing, you're scripting. The second time block, that's when you take out the camera and you start recording. So that requires a little bit of preparation, not only from the equipment standpoint, but also the location. The third time block, that's when you go on to editing and distributing. So editing, again, you don't have to be camera ready. You don't have to be in front of a camera. You don't have to be at a place where everybody quiet down. It doesn't work that way, right? So that's on the editing and distributing can be done back in the office, back in your pajamas, back in wherever, when you're winding down the night while you're watching Netflix, whatever the case may be. At that point, you don't have to be on per se. You're not the actor at that point. Does that make sense? All right, so now that you're ready, now it's time to record. Now here's the thing. For this particular video, I'm actually gonna use this camera so you actually see what it looks like. So we're gonna be integrating that in this particular video on what that looks like. But for you, you may not be at a place where your camera is already connected to your computer, where it's connected to a microphone, where it's connected to lighting. Again, I want to make this as frictionless as possible. So you have your phone, use that, right? So all you're gonna have to do is you're gonna put it at a place where it doesn't fall over somewhere. So you're gonna have it on your stand. Oops, you can't see it. You have it on your stand, and either you frame yourself or have somebody frame you, meaning putting yourself in frame right here. This is gonna fall down. Anyway, you're gonna put it here. It's not copper. There we go. You're gonna frame yourself, so you just record and make sure that you're in frame, and that's all you're gonna use, right? So at this point, you can record it just like this. However, for 25 bucks, if that, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna buy what's called a lapel mic, or a lavalier mic, which is gonna connect into your phone. That way, your phone is coming directly into that microphone, as opposed to making all the way over to the actual microphone of the camera, or of your phone in this case, right? So for iPhones, what you're gonna need, I'll link this down below so you have it. For iPhones, you're gonna need what's called a dongle. Don't ask me why. You're gonna want that dongle, which is gonna connect to your newer iPhone. And then you're gonna have the lapel mic linked up to that, right? So there, everything else is the same. Again, for 25 bucks, your audio is gonna sound so much better. It's gonna sound crispier. It's not gonna sound as echoey, and you're gonna connect it to your shirt. At that point, you're ready to go. Again, most of you that have not made a video before, in fact, every person that has not made a video before, I encourage you to go ahead and do that. Even if you have made videos before, and you're not necessarily proud of the product, that simple thing right then and there is going to do wonders for your video. So start there. I don't want you to, if you don't have your camera already set up where it's connected to your computer, where it's already functioning by itself, where everything else is connected, don't add some complication, don't add friction to this. Just use your phone, that's going to be fine. Again, the reason that I'm using this camera is because the video that I'm getting ready to record right now, as soon as I press stop, is going to be this actual video. So we can embed it here so you see a little bit of the outtakes. And also, you're gonna be able to, by the time this gets released, you're gonna be able to go and see this in a real life channel, in a real life version. So that way you see how the sausage is made from beginning to end. I thought this is the best way to actually convey this to you, because it was very helpful for me. I didn't know how to do this until somebody by the name of Trevor Jones. You should check out his YouTube channel, by the way. He taught me how to do this. He's the one that showed me how to record. He's the one that said, hey, I don't memorize everything. I just get a few lines, I record it into the camera, I never stop recording, and life is good. So he's a huge shout out. He's the one that really taught me at the beginning about 80% of what I had to learn. The other 20% was just me screwing up and figuring it out myself. However, hopefully as you're seeing this, it makes sense. So here in these next couple of seconds, you're gonna see some of the out clips not the out clips, you're gonna see some of the actual takes that it took me in order to record that video. And then we're gonna go on to the editing component, which we'll talk about that then. Okay, so here we go. This video is one that I'm gonna record as mentioned, and it's gonna be from beginning to end. So here's the script that we have. And what you're gonna see is me, sometimes you're gonna see me get my lines right, sometimes, a majority of the time, you're gonna see me screw it up, and that's okay. So here's exactly what happens. The script's already ready to go. Over here, off to the right, I have a screen over here, and I also have a screen over here, and I also have my computer down here. So you can't really see it, there it is. Now what happens is I'm gonna look over here, and I'm gonna memorize a few lines. Now, here's a pro tip. Memorize as much as you can that you can confidently say. If there's numbers, if there's stats, if there's a long list of things that you need to say in, like if you're reading a definition as an example, don't memorize all of it. Just either break it up into sections or just read it, because you know that you're gonna be able to put B-roll in front of that. You'll see it in action. So let's just start recording, because this video will get edited. We'll go and see the life of day. Have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment is actually made of? So that's the line. That's literally what we wrote. And you're gonna see me, as I go through and start recording, you're gonna see me probably change a few words here and there. Have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment is actually made of? Have you ever wondered what a mortgage payment is actually made of? I'm comfortable with that, that's fine. All right, there's 4 critical components that you need to understand about a mortgage payment. There's 4 critical components that you need to understand about a mortgage payment. Well, there's 4 critical components that you need to understand about a mortgage payment. So notice that although I wrote an entire sentence here, I didn't read an entire sentence. And not understanding those components could leave you in a bind. So that's the next part. And not understanding those components can leave you in a bind. The camera's still on, right? So the camera will continue going. So this is where preparation is so important. I know the points that I want to hit. Now I just need to hit the points. All right, so the next part is, so today we'll be covering the components of a mortgage payment, and make sure to stay. So today we're going to be covering those components. So today we're going to be covering the components of a mortgage payment. So today we'll be covering the components of a mortgage. So today we'll be covering those 4 components of a mortgage payment in detail. And make sure to stay to the end, because I have a gift for you that will let you know exactly how to calculate your mortgage payment. So make sure to stay to the end, and make sure to stay to the end, and make sure to stay to the end, because I have a special gift and make sure to stay to the end, because I have a special gift for you that will let you know exactly your mortgage payment down to the penny. All right, so notice that I changed it up halfway through. I didn't use that, the last part, right? So as you get going, just like the actors do, you can introduce different verbiage if you're not filling the lines that you wrote. All right, so since this is going to be live, then I'll go ahead and use the actual. Hey, my name is Jaime Resendiz. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome, where we cover everything you need to know about. Well, since we're going to do my formal one. All right, so here we go. Hey, welcome to the DFW homeowner. Hey, welcome to the DFW homeowner, where we cover. Hey, welcome to the DFW homeowner. Hey, welcome to the DFW homeowner group, where we cover every homeowner channel. It's been a while since I made a video for this channel. Hey, welcome to the DFW homeowner YouTube channel, where we cover everything you need to know about Dallas. Hey, welcome to the DFW Homeowner YouTube channel where we cover everything you need to know about DFW real estate. All right, so as I was recording this video, I kind of shot myself in the foot, and it's not uncommon that that happened. Here, I introduced my template to protest property taxes. So I actually did a call to action here, and I asked them to email me. And yeah, that's what happened here. But I also had my call to action already ready to go. So I kind of had to do an audible, and I'm just asking them to comment down below. I'm gonna have to scrap this. Actually, I'll be providing them the resource from the Win House You Love still, but I'm gonna have to scrap the what I had planned originally. I was planning for them to email me, but I don't want to do this two different calls to action with them doing the exact same thing, because that would just be confusing. All right, so again, that was You Live, You Learn. Even after the thousands of videos that I've made, I'm not immune to mistakes. So anyway, so I ended up including a more direct call to action here, which is actually going to call out homeowners, because this is going to be more conducive for seller leads, because if they're protesting property taxes, that means that they own a home already. So here it's going to be, this call to action is geared more to people that want to purchase. So they want to see what the mortgage payment would actually be. So again, not the cleanest, I'll be honest. That's not the cleanest that I've done this, but we're going to make it work. So now at this point, so I'm going to do another call to action, which is going to be getting them into the videos. Now, if you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you know when I upload next. And if you want to see exactly how to save money, and if you want to see exactly how to save money on your next home purchase, check out this video right here. All right, so what I'm trying to do is do a call to action so they go and check out another one of my videos. All right, so the entire recording, you can't see this, but I'm seeing myself on the screen here. The entire recording with the additional commentary that I've been making took about 40 minutes to record. Could I whittle it down if I wasn't doing this commentary and everything else in between, wasn't giving notes? Of course. So this is realistically a 25 to 30 minute video recording now that I have everything ready to go. But overall, you're gonna see what it looks like shortly. All right, so now you saw exactly how a recording would go. In real time, you saw me make plenty of mistakes, and that happens all of the time, and that's okay. However, now that that video is behind us, now we can go into the next step, which is editing. Now again, since we're batching everything, this would be over here, and I would start recording that video that is about real estate rates. So again, pretend that I had optimized this, pretend that I had written the script and everything was good to go. I'm just showing you the process. So after I get through recording that, I would throw it over to editing, and I would start recording this one. Until I finish the recording, then I wouldn't move it until it's ready to go. So what happens is I get the finished files in one file, by the way. Once I get that finished file, I can upload it to Google Drive. So here in our hub here, and by the way, if you're interested in this hub, it will be linked down below so you can use the exact workflow if you like. Or if you want us to take over your entire YouTube channel, launch it, and so you actually see success with it, the link is also down below. But anyway, you're gonna upload it to your Google folder, and we're gonna take care of it from, upload it to your Google folder, so that way you have it all in one place. So that's what you're gonna see up here, the raw file for our agents. That's what they do. They just put the raw file there, and then they start editing. Then we start the editing process. So now that it's in editing, we need to discuss that. Again, I'm making the assumption that you are the person that's doing everything. You're the person that brainstormed, you're the person that optimized, you're the person that created the thumbnail. You did all of it up until this point, which is the point of editing. You've already recorded, and now it's time to clean up what you just did. And I originally thought, well, let me show the people how to do the editing. And that would be a terrible idea because it's been years since I have edited myself. And even when I edited, it was terrible. It wasn't great. It was just me chopping the beginning where I was fidgeting with the camera and chopping out the end. That was my version of editing. So in order to save you and I the embarrassment here, I am actually going to link my preferred editing video tutorials on different software that you can check out down in the description. Those videos are going to be so much better than anything I could possibly produce and are going to be so much more helpful in actually you implementing the editing strategies into your videos. And as a compromise, I've asked Adrian, our lead editor, to actually show what the edited timeline looks like on the finished video. So as you can see, there's a little bit more that goes into this editing thing. And once you have the product ready to go, all you have to do now is upload it to YouTube and optimize it. And to give you the setup on how we set up all of our YouTube channels and how we actually go about uploading the videos and optimizing them, check out this video right here. And if you found value in this video showing you exactly how to do everything from beginning to end, go ahead and comment YouTube down below.